As we grow older, the choices we make at the dinner table begin to carry far more weight than we might expect. For adults over 60, food is no longer just about taste or convenience. It becomes a daily act of either nurturing the body or, unknowingly, undermining it. Every bite can influence inflammation, energy levels, immune resilience, and even how well our heart and brain function. Yet, one group of foods continues to confuse many people: vegetables. Yes, vegetables are often hailed as the gold standard of healthy eating, and in many ways, they are. But here's the surprising truth: not all vegetables are created equal, especially when it comes to aging bodies. In fact, certain vegetables that are generally seen as healthy may actually worsen inflammation, spike blood sugar, interfere with medications, or disrupt digestion in older adults. On the other hand, there are vegetables that older adults should be eating more often, those with a powerful combination of fiber, antioxidants, and age-defying nutrients that support joint health, protect the brain, regulate blood pressure, and keep energy steady throughout the day. It's not about cutting out entire food groups or adopting extreme diets. It's about making smarter, more senior-friendly choices, adjusting the types of vegetables we eat to better match the needs of an aging metabolism, gut, and immune system. Science backs this up. For example, studies from institutions like Johns Hopkins and the National Institute on Aging have found that certain vegetables can influence inflammation pathways, affect medication metabolism, or even impact cognitive performance. Vegetables, high in compounds like oxalates or fructans, can contribute to digestive discomfort or nutrient malabsorption, especially in older adults with underlying conditions. Meanwhile, those rich in sulforaphane, flavonoids, or prebiotic fibers can do the opposite: soothe inflammation, improve gut health, and support mental clarity. And let's not overlook the connection between physical and mental health. What we eat can influence not just our joints or blood pressure, but also our mood, focus, and sense of vitality. That's why diet plays a crucial role in healthy aging, not just for extending lifespan, but for preserving health span, the quality of life as we age. So whether you're managing diabetes, high cholesterol, arthritis, or simply striving to stay active and mentally sharp, understanding which vegetables to embrace and which to limit could make all the difference. Tiny shifts in the produce aisle can translate into major improvements in daily energy, mobility, and well-being. Now, let's move forward. In this video from NutriHub Bliss, we'll explore both sides of the story: 4 vegetables that may do more harm than good, and 4 powerhouse veggies that deserve a regular spot on your plate if you're over 60. We'll break down the science behind each one so you can make informed, age-appropriate choices that support long-term vitality. Now, let's take the first real step toward smarter vegetable choices for seniors. Because when it comes to aging well, it's not just about adding more greens to your plate, it's about knowing which ones help and which might quietly harm. One surprising example: canned corn. At first glance, corn seems innocent enough. It's a staple at backyard BBQs, comfort food in casseroles, and even a default side dish in senior care facilities. But here's what often gets overlooked: canned corn is not the same as fresh corn. And for adults over 60, the difference can be more than just nutritional. It can be metabolic. As we age, the body becomes more sensitive to blood sugar shifts, especially for those managing prediabetes or insulin resistance. Canned corn, being a processed starchy vegetable, has a high glycemic load, and many brands contain added sugars and excess sodium. This combination doesn't just raise your glucose levels, it puts pressure on your pancreas, promotes visceral fat storage, and fuels the low-grade inflammation linked to heart disease and cognitive decline. But digestion is another piece of the puzzle we can't ignore. Older adults often face slower gastrointestinal transit, and the type of fiber found in corn, especially when overcooked or preserved, is hard to break down. That can mean bloating, gas, or even constipation, especially in people already coping with gut dysbiosis or medication side effects. And there's the packaging itself. Many canned foods still use BPA-lined containers despite increasing awareness about their risks. BPA, or bisphenol A, has been shown in studies to interfere with hormonal balance and kidney function, two systems already under pressure in aging bodies. A 2021 study from the journal Nutrients highlighted how frequent intake of processed, starchy vegetables like canned corn correlates with elevated markers of inflammation and unstable blood sugar in older adults. That's not just a data point, that's a red flag. But here's where the good news kicks in. This is a solvable problem. A simple shift toward vegetables that support blood sugar control, like steamed green beans or sautéed leafy greens, can go a long way. Not only are they easier to digest, but they also deliver nutrients like potassium and magnesium, minerals that support heart rhythm, reduce fatigue, and help maintain fluid balance. And remember, the payoff isn't just physical. When your digestion improves, your sleep deepens. When your blood sugar stabilizes, your energy and mood follow suit. That's the mind-body connection we too often overlook. What's on your plate directly affects how you feel, move, and think. So, if you've been reaching for canned corn out of habit or convenience, this is your gentle wake-up call. Opt for flash-frozen vegetables. They retain nutrients without the additives. Or prep fresh veggies in batches and store them in the fridge. These small steps add up. Because healthy aging isn't just about what you cut out. It's about what you replace it with smart, nourishing choices that support your vitality every day. Now, let's move forward and look at another healthy vegetable that might not be serving you as well as you think. Now, let's keep building on what we've started. After uncovering the quiet problems with canned corn, it's time to turn our attention to another surprising issue that often hides behind a healthy label: raw, cruciferous vegetables. Yes, these are the same veggies often praised for their cancer-fighting compounds and antioxidant content. Kale, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. But here's what we've learned from decades of experience in geriatric nutrition and clinical research. Once you're over 60, it's not just about what you eat, but how your body processes it. And raw, cruciferous vegetables can quietly create more stress than support if they're not handled properly. Here's the thing. These vegetables contain natural compounds called goitrogens, which can interfere with iodine uptake, a mineral essential for healthy thyroid function. And since thyroid activity naturally declines with age, this interference can have outsized effects in older adults. I've seen it play out repeatedly. Older clients feel sluggish, mentally foggy, or chilled for no clear reason, only to discover their daily green smoothie was unintentionally disrupting their hormonal balance. And digestion. That's another piece of the puzzle. Cruciferous vegetables are high in insoluble fiber and complex sugars like raffinose, which are difficult for aging guts to break down. As gut motility slows and microbial diversity decreases with age, what once was a power salad can now lead to bloating, gas, and even appetite loss, issues that sap vitality and affect quality of life more than we tend to admit. A compelling case was published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, where researchers found that older adults consuming large amounts of raw, goitrogenic vegetables had lower T3 hormone levels and increased signs of fatigue and cognitive dullness, especially in those with marginal iodine intake. But let's be clear, cruciferous vegetables are still deeply valuable. The key is preparation. Steaming, sautéing, or lightly roasting these vegetables helps deactivate goitrogens and soften fibers, making them far easier to digest and safer for aging thyroids. Even adding iodine-rich companions like seaweed flakes or pasture-raised eggs, can balance the nutritional profile beautifully. As we age, health becomes more personalized. What energizes a 35-year-old may overwhelm a 70-year-old's metabolism. That's why listening to your body becomes your best strategy. Are you feeling heavy, tired, or unfocused after a clean meal? It may not be the food itself. It may be the form it's in. So the takeaway here is balance, not avoidance. Enjoy your greens, but give them a little warmth, a little fat, and a little support. Your energy, your digestion, and, yes, even your mood will thank you for it. Now, let's move forward. The next vegetable on our list may surprise you with its glossy purple skin and link to joint discomfort. Yes, we're talking about eggplant. And it might be time to take a second look at how often it shows up on your plate. Now, let's continue building this picture of how healthy vegetables can impact aging bodies in unexpected ways. After exploring the challenges of raw, cruciferous vegetables, let's turn our attention to another common item in senior diets, one that's both beautiful and, for some, surprisingly problematic: eggplant. Eggplant, with its rich purple skin and meaty texture, is a staple in many Mediterranean dishes. But what's often overlooked is that it belongs to the nightshade family, a group of plants including tomatoes, white potatoes, and bell peppers, that may trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. For older adults managing arthritis, gout, or lingering joint pain, this can quietly undermine well-being. The key compound at play here is solanine, a natural alkaloid found more abundantly in the skin. While small amounts are harmless for most people, clinical observations and emerging studies suggest that in people with pre-existing inflammation or autoimmune conditions, solanine may contribute to increased joint stiffness, swelling, and even fatigue. I've seen this firsthand. In my practice, older patients often report worsening joint pain with no clear cause, until we trace their symptoms back to dietary patterns. Take the case of Ramona Delaney, a 70-year-old librarian who followed a plant-forward diet yet struggled with persistent knee pain. After eliminating dishes with eggplant, her symptoms noticeably improved, including reduced morning stiffness and better sleep quality. Science is starting to catch up with these lived experiences. Some research indicates that solanine can activate pro-inflammatory cytokines and disrupt nerve signaling, particularly in those with underlying inflammatory conditions. And chronic joint pain doesn't exist in isolation. It frequently affects mood, mental clarity, and even appetite, creating a feedback loop that worsens quality of life. So, what can be done? For starters, awareness is powerful. If you're over 60 and dealing with chronic joint issues, consider limiting or avoiding eggplant, especially with skin on. Thorough cooking helps reduce solanine content. Pair your meals with anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric, oily fish, and dark leafy greens. And most importantly, listen to your body's feedback. Symptoms often speak louder than any label. Now let's move forward. In the next segment, we'll shift from what to limit to what to embrace. Vegetables that actively help your body thrive as you age. Now, let's take a closer look at a leafy green often praised without hesitation: spinach. Following our discussion of eggplant and joint health, it's worth re-examining how even a celebrated superfood can present unique challenges, especially for older adults managing medications or nutrient imbalances. Spinach is commonly seen as a nutritional hero, but for those over 60, especially individuals on blood thinners or prone to anemia or bone loss, raw spinach can be more complex than it appears. The issue lies not in the leaf itself, but in what it contains, oxalates and vitamin K1, and how these compounds interact with the aging body. Oxalates, naturally occurring in raw spinach, bind to minerals like calcium and iron in the digestive, Tract, reducing absorption. This means the calcium you thought you were getting, it may not reach your bones. The iron, it may never help your red blood cells. For seniors already at risk of osteoporosis or fatigue from low iron, this binding effect can quietly sabotage well-being. Then there's vitamin K1, crucial for blood clotting. But for older adults on medications like warfarin, high K1 intake can interfere with dosage stability. I've seen it happen. Neville Rayburn, 79, came into my office after his INR levels started fluctuating unpredictably. The change? He had taken up a healthy habit, daily raw spinach smoothies. Once those were removed, his blood values normalized, relieving both his doctor and his joints. What this shows is that cooking matters. Lightly steaming or sautéing spinach can drastically reduce both oxalates and vitamin K1, making the nutrients more absorbable and the food safer for medication interactions. More broadly, this is about personalization. Nutrition is never one-size-fits-all, especially in later life. Paying attention to your body's signals, understanding how food interacts with medication, and consulting a trusted professional can go a long way in preserving both physical and mental health. So, let's move forward. In the next part, we'll shift from potential pitfalls to nutrient-rich vegetables that actively support energy, cognition, and longevity. Foods that deserve a permanent place on your plate as you age. Now, let's move from caution to opportunity. Because not all vegetables pose challenges in later life. Some offer extraordinary support, especially for aging hearts and minds. One of the most underappreciated in this category? Beetroot. Beetroot might not command the spotlight like kale or avocado, but it quietly delivers a suite of benefits that directly address issues older adults face every day: high blood pressure, reduced circulation, brain fog, and chronic inflammation. What makes it so powerful lies largely in one compound: dietary nitrate. When consumed, nitrates in beetroot convert into nitric oxide, a natural vasodilator that helps blood vessels relax and widen. This improves circulation and lowers blood pressure, two critical factors for seniors dealing with arterial stiffness or early hypertension. In fact, studies in journals like Hypertension and Nitric Oxide Research show that regular beetroot intake can lower systolic blood pressure significantly, often within just a few weeks. But the benefits go beyond the heart. Beetroot also contains betalains, potent anti-inflammatory pigments that help regulate the immune response. Since chronic inflammation is behind many age-related illnesses, joint pain, diabetes, cognitive decline, adding natural anti-inflammatory foods like beetroot can offer meaningful relief and resilience. One compelling story is that of Everett. Bix Callahan, 82, a retired jazz producer who faced dizziness and memory lapses linked to stage 1 hypertension. Instead of relying solely on medication, he made small lifestyle tweaks: daily walks and a morning beetroot smoothie spiced with ginger and lemon. Within weeks, his mental clarity improved, energy lifted, and blood pressure dropped notably. By his next checkup, even his doctor was impressed. Today, Bix calls his smoothie his morning tune-up. This is more than anecdote. It reflects what research confirms. Improved cerebral blood flow, especially to brain areas tied to decision-making and memory, is a real benefit of beetroot. One study from Wake Forest University found that seniors drinking beetroot juice before walking showed enhanced brain connectivity, especially in the frontal lobes. For older adults looking to support brain function, circulation, and energy, beetroot is a natural ally. Try it roasted, steamed, or in small juice servings. Pair it with turmeric or garlic for extra anti-inflammatory synergy. And if you're on blood pressure medication, loop your doctor in. Natural foods still deserve medical oversight. Because, in the end, the most effective health changes are simple, consistent, and personalized. and beetroot might just be that one addition that makes all the difference. Now, let's continue exploring vegetables that actively support longevity and vitality. After highlighting the vascular and cognitive benefits of beetroot, it's time to spotlight a gentle, often overlooked green that deserves far more attention. In senior nutrition, bok choy. At first glance, bok choy may not seem impressive. It's mild in taste, soft in texture, and rarely makes headlines. But beneath its simplicity lies a nutritional synergy that can significantly support bone strength, immune health, and cardiovascular function, especially for adults over 60. Let's start with bone health, a crucial concern after midlife. As we age, calcium needs increase, yet absorption becomes more challenging. Unlike spinach, which is high in oxalates that block calcium uptake, bok choy is low in oxalates, allowing the calcium it contains to be effectively absorbed and used for bone mineralization. This matters because preserving bone density reduces fracture risk and helps maintain independence. What makes bok choy stand out even more is its nutrient trio: calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K. Magnesium helps regulate calcium transport, while vitamin K directs calcium into bones instead of arteries, where it could contribute to plaque buildup. That's a rare 1-2 punch for skeletal and heart health from a single vegetable. And bok choy doesn't stop there. Its vitamin C content supports white blood cell activity and immune resilience, vital in older adults whose immune responses tend to weaken with age. In practice, I've seen patients benefit tremendously. Lenore, a 76-year-old woman with lactose, intolerance, and digestive sensitivities, struggled with calcium supplements and raw greens. By gently sautéing bok choy into her meals, she not only tolerated it well but began reporting better balance, energy, and fewer winter illnesses. Scientific research backs this up. Diets rich in greens like bok choy are linked to lower fracture rates, better blood pressure control, and improved immune markers. And perhaps most importantly, better physical stability often leads to increased confidence and social participation, a key link between physical and mental wellness in older adults. Getting started is simple. Add bok choy to stir-fries, soups, or steam it lightly with olive oil and lemon to boost fat-soluble vitamin absorption. Eat it consistently, and combine it with movement and regular checkups for best results. So, let's move forward. In the next segment, we'll look at another, underappreciated vegetable that not only nourishes the body but protects the brain, especially in later life. Now, let's move forward from the bone-building benefits of bok choy to another surprisingly powerful ally for aging bodies, one that's often overlooked: green peas. These vibrant little spheres do more than add color to your plate. They deliver a quiet but impressive dose of nourishment that directly supports digestion, blood sugar balance, muscle preservation, and even inflammation control. What makes green peas stand out for older adults is their dual fiber content, both soluble and insoluble, paired with plant-based protein and essential micronutrients. Fiber, especially, is an unsung hero. A single cooked cup of peas offers up to 9 grams of fiber, helping regulate blood sugar and bowel regularity. Soluble fiber slows digestion, leading to steadier energy and glucose levels, vital for seniors managing insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. At the same time, insoluble fiber adds bulk, easing constipation, a challenge that affects nearly half of adults over 65. From my clinical experience, even small improvements in digestive regularity often translate to better energy, clearer thinking, and a more stable mood. Then there's the muscle connection. 1 cup of peas delivers about 8 grams of protein, supporting the fight against sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle that leads to weakness, falls, and reduced independence. I remember working with Fernald Broderick, an 80-year-old retired ranger dealing with digestive problems and borderline diabetes. Just by adding peas into his meals, tossed into omelets, stirred into soups, or blended into purees, he noticed improved digestion, steadier energy, and better blood sugar within weeks. He called them his little green guardians, and I've used that phrase ever since. Science backs it up. Green peas are also rich in antioxidants like flavonoids and polyphenols, known for reducing chronic inflammation, a root cause of many diseases that rob seniors of vitality. And as we know, inflammation doesn't just damage joints or arteries. It clouds thinking, disrupts sleep, and drags down mood. The best part? Green peas are easy to enjoy. Add them to stir-fries, mix them into casseroles, or steam them with a splash of olive oil for better nutrient absorption. The key is consistency. Small, sustained dietary shifts, especially when paired with light movement and proper hydration, can change the way aging feels. So, if you're aiming to maintain strength, energy, and independence, don't underestimate the humble green pea. It's a simple, affordable, and delicious step toward whole-body resilience. Because aging well is not about perfection, but about making choices that work with your body, not against it. Now, let's build on the momentum of green peas by turning to a truly underrated leafy green that deserves far more attention in senior nutrition: rainbow chard. With its vibrant stems and deeply nourishing leaves, this vegetable isn't just beautiful. It's strategically beneficial for aging bodies. What sets rainbow chard apart isn't just its color, it's the nutrient density. Unlike spinach, it's low in oxalates yet rich in vitamin K, manganese, folate, and B-complex vitamins like B1. These nutrients play a foundational role in maintaining bone density, neurological integrity, and cardiovascular resilience. But its real power lies in its betalains, natural pigments with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that aid liver detoxification. As we age and organ function gradually slows, supporting the liver becomes essential to managing toxins and protecting other systems. Chard also has a mild diuretic effect, which supports kidney health and reduces fluid retention, common in seniors with blood pressure issues or limited mobility. Even more impressively, just one cooked cup provides over 40% of your daily vitamin C, helping immune cells fight infections and accelerating recovery. This is especially important as immune function often declines with age. But perhaps rainbow chard's most striking benefit lies in eye health. Age-related conditions like macular degeneration and cataracts are major threats to senior independence. Rainbow chard offers lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that filter blue light and protect retinal cells from oxidative damage, supporting clearer vision for longer. I often think of Loretta Mayfield, 84, who began eating rainbow chard twice, a week after learning about its benefits. One serving was gently sautéed with garlic and lemon, the other added to lentil soup. Within 8 weeks, she reported better digestion, fewer infections, and improved vision, confirmed by her doctors. Her story echoes a broader truth. Every meal is a chance to fortify your body, not just fill your stomach. Rainbow chard can easily be added to your routine. Toss it into stir-fries, soups, or pair it with olive oil to boost absorption of its fat-soluble vitamins. When paired with regular physical activity and adequate hydration, this simple addition can reinforce liver health, bone strength, immune resilience, and even mental clarity. In short, rainbow chard isn't just another leafy green. It's a targeted ally for the aging body, helping preserve vitality from your liver to your vision. Give it a regular place at the table. Your bones, brain, and immune system will thank you. As we've explored throughout this video, not all vegetables are created equal, especially for older adults. Some seemingly harmless veggies can quietly work against our efforts by increasing inflammation, interfering with medications, or worsening chronic conditions. This highlights the importance of making conscious, smarter food choices rather than simply eating out of habit or convenience. We've discussed 4 nutrient-packed superfoods: beets, bok choy, peas, and rainbow chard that should become staples on every older adult's plate. These vegetables don't just offer vital nutrients, they help improve circulation, strengthen bones, support digestion, and boost immunity. More importantly, solid scientific evidence shows that regularly including these veggies can directly benefit heart health, blood pressure regulation, and brain function, key factors in maintaining clarity and vitality well into your 60s and beyond. However, healthy eating isn't about strict rules or drastic changes. It's about small, smart steps, like swapping canned corn for peas or adding bok choy to your favorite soup. These simple shifts can profoundly impact how you feel each day, increasing your energy, flexibility, and overall quality of life. At NutriHub Bliss, we're here to walk with you on this journey, not just to help you live longer, but to live stronger, clearer, and with purpose. So, if you found today's information valuable, please share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Were you surprised by any of these vegetables? Do you plan to add or remove any from your meals? We'd love to hear your story, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you won't miss out on future helpful videos. It's a wonderful way for us to stay motivated and build healthier habits together. Thank you for being part of NutriHub Bliss, your trusted source for knowledge, inspiration, and support to live fully at every stage of life.